Okay, could AI friends be perhaps a wave of the future? Let's take a closer look at the idea of humanizing AI. And joining us to discuss this is Amr Awadallah, the founder and CEO of generative AI company Vectara Inc. Amr, welcome back. Thanks for taking on this topic. So,
my pleasure.
How do AI companions integrate with existing technologies that are out there, like smartphones, smart homes? Are we seeing more standalone devices?
There is a number of startups attempting to do standalone devices, like the friend.com device you just showed right now. There's a number of other ones trying to do the same thing. I don't think that's going to succeed myself. This is my personal opinion, because there is enough devices around us. As humans, we don't need another device, right? So ideally, we would like these AI companions to be part of one of our existing devices. So that's either our phone, our watch, our glasses, or maybe a ring. But I'm not going to carry something else. So I think the answer is it will integrate into existing devices. And in fact, all the big vendors are rolling it out. Like Apple, as many of you might know, has a deal with with the OpenAI to launch ChatGPT within Siri. Google already activated this week, actually, activated the interactive voice service in their Google Assistant. So that's happening already across all the big providers.
You know, I know we're going to have to pare it back a little bit, but I want to draw a comparison, if you will, to social media, what it was like in the early days. In many ways, it's just become so toxic. So are there reasons to be concerned that we could be heading down a road with AI thinking, oh, this is a nice, harmless outlet for a companion, only to find out months or years down the road that we just walk through a minefield?
No, you're right. We have to be very careful. We don't know how this is going to play out, and we should learn a lesson from the social media revolution and how that did lead to many being depressed because of seeing other things in social media that maybe made them not feel good. And that can happen with these AI assistants, because these AI assistants, they are done in a way to be nice to you all the time, and to agree to you all the time, and to confirm your feelings all the time. So that's not a real person. A real person will disagree with you every now and then. So you might not be prepared for the real world if the only interactions you're having are with these bots.
Yeah, well, let's talk more about that, AI's impact on mental health, because I think about that movie that came out a couple of years ago, Joaquin Phoenix, Her, I think it was called. You know, some people are going to get too consumed in this. And I know I was in China back in March, and there were people that had AI boyfriends and AI girlfriends, and they would buy clothes for them. Do you see, I mean, tell me your thoughts on this.
Yeah, if we're not careful, I see this happening. This can be very, very addictive. Imagine having a friend or a mate that is always agreeing with you, is always loving you, is always caring about you, is always telling you exactly what you want to hear, and never getting you upset. Of course, that's going to be addictive, and we have to be very careful with how we launch these things. I have no doubt about that this is something we need to pay very close attention to, and monitor the early users as they're experimenting with these systems.
And Amr, let's also talk about, because there's these AI companions for school-age kids, you know, maybe helping kids who may be a bit shy, helping kids put a toe, if you will, out in the water there trying to meet some friends. And it just seems that depending on AI for kids raises a ton of flags. I mean, the last thing I want as a parent is my child telling the computer, phone, whatever, his or her personal problems. Am I missing something here, or is that on
So
site?
it depends. I would say it depends. It depends, right? So first, as far as secrecy and confidentiality is concerned, I personally would always trust a piece of software that I know cannot be blackmailed, that I know cannot be robbed, in the same way that my psychiatrist might be robbed, right? So leakage from AI systems, in my opinion, is a much more less likely event than leakage from a real therapist or a real person. So as long as these companies are doing proper encryption and proper security, then I think we are okay. The bigger concern is, again, the kids being educated in the wrong way that does not set them up properly for the real world. That said, I would say that we should be able to mitigate against that. Like when we're creating these mates for the kids, they're not really love mates. They are teaching mates. They're teaching them to evolve their character in one dimension or another. So as long as we base the style of these teaching mates on the best teachers out there, as opposed to the most agreeable AI systems out there, then yeah, we might have actually a very, very positive effect with the kids.
Okay, but I want to go back to what you're talking about in terms of the privacy and data security that's out there, because for every company that puts these things together, there's some hacker out there trying to take it apart. So even though, and you know a lot more about this than I'll ever know, so kind of make me feel better. So if I'm a parent and I want to do this just to get my kid familiar with the way the world works and also with a smartphone or whatever, what kind of privacy data security questions with AI companions should I have?
The same data privacy questions you should have for social media, for any website that your kids might be using. Most companies, most reputable companies, put a lot of extra measures to protect against hacking attacks and protect against the data being used in an invalid or incorrect way. Now, that said, startups, not all of them can pay attention, so you might want to be more careful with startups, who you're using and who you're not using. And most governments, they have certain certifications that you have to pass, like certain security exams, if I might put it that way, that the company has to go through before that company is blessed as, okay, this company was approved, they have all the proper security practices, you should be using them without being concerned. So make sure you're using one of these companies and you're not just using any app that you find out there, because you never know.
Like anything else, it can be a good tool, you just have to be careful.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Amr Awadallah, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for shedding some insight onto that for us. I appreciate it.
Of course, my pleasure.